Yeah, it's Santana. Yeah, I'm the author of this story. This shit's crazy, but listen up. It's how quick your life can end up destroyed. Here's a story of a man that was once a boy, who wasn't a normal type of kid that would just play with his toys. He would sit in the corner and just like to avoid and sit back and think about how his life is destroyed. He had to grow up fast because his parents liked to neglect, but he knew that taking his life wasn't ever correct. He would sit in the lunchroom and he had no friends and write suicide notes to the ink. Ran out of his pen because he never knew which day that his life would end. But then he met another boy that had problems as well. Never had any real parents, was just always locked in a cell. But to the new friend, good advice is all he would tell. Then he met a girl to who him he thought was the world. Was broke, but no matter what would try to get her diamonds and pearls. Then one day he picked up a pad and he grabbed his pen and started to rhyme instead of telling people how his life would end. So then his skill progressed. He would tell stories of his life and stress and secretly confess, but in his heart he was always depressed. But now he has friends, yeah, a girl and a boy. But it's crazy how in a second your life can end up destroyed. Now it's the day of his girlfriend's birth. He wants to borrow the stuff, in the end he doesn't know how much that is worth. So he picked up the ring for his girl and roses fresh from the earth. So he walked to his girl's house, yeah, proud with a smile. But he didn't think that the very reason that he always smiles will ever make him suicidal or homicidal. Cause the only thing he ever wanted to do was just ask for her bridal, because he fought for her love and he thought he had the title. But he walked in, he heard moans and groans. His girl's voices volume increased in tone. He opened the door and he couldn't believe what was shown. He walked in on his boy with his girl getting boned. She was his queen that always made him sit on the throne. But the anger, it just made him fucking bite his lip, because he couldn't believe that he caught his boy's dick inside of his chick. So his boy thought that he was slick. He stood up and then he pulled his dick out of the chick. But then he tried to explain, but the thoughts in the young man's mind just had him insane. He felt like grabbing his girl and his boy and blowing out their brains. But the thoughts in his mind he couldn't maintain or sustain, because the pain just made him want to slit his veins. But he realized his life was just all a game, but everything wasn't just all his to blame. So he knelt to the floor. You wouldn't believe the pain he was about to endure. He pulled out a brand new 38, put the angel on his shoulder, it wasn't there to debate. He knew that he was about to send his people straight to the gate, and he couldn't give a fuck about the rest of his fate, because he knew in the end that the situation wouldn't end straight. Cause he always thought that God had always cleared his plate. So now he knew that he had just finished his plate. All the problems in his life is something he had to consume. But now he smelled good smoke instead of his girlfriend's perfume. And now he knew he cleaned up his mess without using a broom, because he killed the very people that he loved all the way to the tomb. And now he knew his life wasn't worth living, because he could always pray and he never would be forgiven. So now he picked up his 38 and put it up to his head, blew out his brains, and now you know he was dead. Instead of 2 dead people, now there was 3 on the bed. Now the sheets, the pillows, even the condom was red. So now caution tape, it just surrounded the house. Inside the house you couldn't even hear the squeak of a mouse, because of a poor young man that always wanted a spouse. So now you really know what a crazy life is really about, cause outside of the house was the police and everybody down the block, house to house, and the parents of the victims inside of the house. In the end, his parents loved him, they loved him a lot. I bet they would've seeked help for him if he would've told them this plot. The next day there was a big story, yeah, on the front page, and 3 victims in the obituary, and 1 could've been on the stage making money, yeah, enjoying his life. But then he made a wrong decision because he didn't think twice. So now all the friends and family, all they could do was mourn, cause this young man didn't know that his parents loved him since he was born. Now their hearts are torn, yeah, torn and sad, because of a young man's friendship just turning out bad. So now you know what happens when you make a suicidal man mad. But I don't know if it was God or the devil that closed his eyes, so I hope he realized he hated his life until his demise. So now you know what a crazy life is really about. What would you have done if you was inside of that house? What would you do if you caught your best friend of your crew fucking your girl that was really meant for you? Which path would you pursue? Would you have left or murdered them too? But problems in life is something that you will never avoid. Now you see how quick a life can end up destroyed. Yeah, it's Santana. Crazy story, right? But oh well. Shout out to my boy Hecty.